Hi, I'm Eric Hartman. I am the Director of Advocacy for the Choroideremia Research Foundation. I was actually diagnosed when I was age 11, back before many people could get a good clinical diagnosis. And it was a shock to the family because my mother was adopted. And it was only because of a night vision problem that I had that I was sent to the eye doctor. So it became just something I had, and it turns out my brother has it. And we never really talked about it or anything along that line, though I did develop more night problems of seeing at night. And then over time, it got to the point where I realized I couldn't drive anymore at age 25. So for me, it affected job choices and where I lived. And I didn't find out about the foundation until the dawning of the internet in the late 90s. And that's when I was able to find out that there was a choroideremia group. And from that, we suddenly had a brotherhood and a sisterhood. It was our CHM family. And I was part of the group that started. I was I think the first at-large member to the board. So I've been with the foundation since 2000. I think if someone were to ask me about whether to support our foundation, the CRF, I would say absolutely. We are, at this point, especially with my advocacy and seeing other rare disease groups out there, we are the gold standard by which many rare disease groups are measured. We have grown to the point we have our own science advisory board. We are pushing the envelope. We've had attempts at 3 different gene therapy trials. Unfortunately, they didn't work, but that's not stopping us. They are trying to find a myriad of avenues for either cures or to stop the disease where it is. We're also really pressing to find out more about how the disease progresses, as they call it, the pathogenesis of the disease. And we've also really understood that female carriers can actually have symptoms. And we've got a number of studies underway to better understand what it means to be a woman and carry the CHM gene. I think it's incredibly important. We're amazingly frugal, but we are the world's leading funder of CHM research. My hopes for CHM research and for the future, I've become more and more aware, and many of the doctors are now saying, that it isn't going to be one particular treatment or one particular cure. What may end up being is a combination of different types of treatments. We are now realizing that if we can slow the disease progression, say by 20%, that's a major win because it could give decades of additional vision for those that do have CHM. But we're still working towards a way of treating it. But it's a long road, and these trials are expensive. And the challenge of CHM is its blessing, and that is because our disease progresses slowly, which is great for us. But when you're trying to make a measurement in a clinical trial to see if it's effective, it takes a much longer time, which means our trials could last many more years than a normal trial in order to show that the treatment or the therapy is effective. So it's a long process, but I think what we are doing now is just extraordinary. The doctors that we've had here today with our International Choroideremia Research Network sat down and we had some really great brainstorming about where we can look strategically to the future for potential therapies. My advice to anyone that is navigating the CHM process and a diagnosis is to reach out to the foundation, reach out to the members. If you're a mother and you've just found out your child has it, we have a support group for you. Or we have many, many of our members that can be a source for you just to talk personally. And that's the same for guys, for younger men. We have people that are experiencing what you're going through, and we can help lead you to realize you can have a thriving life even with a CHM diagnosis. Saving sight is our vision, and building hope is how we're going to get there. Join us. Donate today. CureCHM.org. Thank you.